Hey folks, Doug Blake with Body Design University. In this video, I want to answer a question that a student had asked me pertaining to fat loss and how lean an individual is and why, for the most part, as you get leaner, it's really hard to lose more and more body fat. So typically, average clients that will come in to train will be anywhere from 20 all the way up to 30, 40, even higher percentage points in body fat. So body fat percentage, not BMI, not body mass index, right? We don't use BMI, not in personal training. We use body composition, which is going to be measured by checking somebody's body fat percentage. So basically, the student wanted to know the rationale and how then to explain it. So the rationale and understanding the physiology behind why your starting body fat percentage really dictates a lot about how much leaner you can get. That part of it is fairly straightforward. I mean, there is some biochemistry and the endocrine system issues that are related to it, but I wanted to address how a trainer would perhaps explain it to a client. Because here's what happens. If you do this correctly and you're helping clients lose body fat, guess what they're going to hit? A plateau. So somebody starts out, and I'll just use arbitrary numbers. You have a client average, and by the way, this is, even though it's arbitrary, it's actually more close to reality, 30% body fat, in some cases, 35% body fat. So let's just use 30 as an arbitrary number. Now, an individual, human being, everything else being equal, normal, quote, healthy, whatever, I guess we could question what that means, but even just a normal, healthy, apparently healthy individual that is at 30% body fat, it should not be, if you do everything correctly, i.e., get their nutrition plan in place, increase their exercise, energy output, you should have no issues helping that individual at 30% body fat get down pretty quick to like 25% body fat, 5 percentage points pretty quickly. Meaning 30 days, 45, even 60 days, whatever it is. I mean, again, I'm giving you percentages, but depending, if you can just do the numbers, if you have a 200-pound individual versus a 300-pound versus a 150, 5 percentage points in body fat, irrespective of body weight, is relatively easy to help somebody lose that amount of weight when they start at higher body fat percentages. So I'm just throwing that out at you. Now, that individual, they'll get down to 25% body fat, and they keep doing the same thing. They're eating well, they're exercising, and they start losing more and more body fat. That is incredible. That's why we do 30-day checkups on individuals when it comes to body comp, right? So we want to know that they're losing weight. But ultimately, and you know this, and this is common, this would be fairly common knowledge, is that as you get lower and lower, it's harder and harder to lose body fat, right? An individual, maybe they lose 5 percentage points, even up to 10 percentage points of body fat. That's incredible. That could equate to 20 pounds, 30 pounds, even with the accrual of some lean body mass. But what's going to happen, if it hasn't happened to you or with clients that you or people is that they hit a plateau. Now, I'm not going to go into how you navigate the plateau. I just want you to kind of understand how I would help a client understand this. And the explanation is really very simple. Without getting deep into the endocrine system, right, or the hormonal system. I'm talking about leptin and ghrelin and insulin resistance and all this other stuff. Without getting too deep into that, you can simply explain to somebody that as they lose more and more body fat, that percentage of body fat, right, is what the body actually wants to hold on to. There is a point at which the body simply cannot lose any more body fat. Now, no, most people are never going to get to that level, but the point is that as your body fat gets lower and lower, what will start to happen is your body, for the most part, and I'm talking about the endocrine system, right? The hormonal system is going to start, it's tracking your body fat all the time. And as it gets lower and lower and starts getting closer and closer to sort of this cutoff point where the body says you cannot lose any more body fat. Now, what is that level, by the way? it's different for everybody. But as you start to track down to insane levels of leanness, 3%, well, even 4%, 3%, 2%, your body is basically going, oh, no, 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 no. You can't lose any more body fat. And I'm talking about natural, okay? Natural people that are not using pharmaceuticals. So you'll get to that. You'll start to track down to that lower and lower body fat. And as the body starts to track it and sense that you're getting lower and lower, it starts to put roadblocks in place hormonally, puts roadblocks in place. And that's the way I explain it to a client. What will end up happening is as you hit these plateaus, your body essentially tracks it and slows it down and shuts it down in some cases. So you're going to have to do different things. You're going to have to make some modifications to nutrition and some exercise, right? And then the body can start to lose more body fat. But as you get to this, and I'm using this as my sort of as the lowest point, this is the break point. You cannot lose any more body fat than this. As you track closer and closer, you're at 20% body fat, 18% body fat. That's fine. 16, 15% body fat. Still no worries. 12, 10. Okay, as you start tracking below those, start to hit those numbers, the body tracks it and says, whoa, 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 slow down. This is not good because your body needs a certain level, small amount of both subcutaneous and visceral body fat. It needs some of that, okay? Not a lot, but it needs some of it. And again, as you track closer and closer, I tell my client, here's what's going to happen. Your body is going to start putting up more and more roadblocks that are more and more difficult to break through. And what will ultimately happen is if you have clients or athletes, for instance, that are able to get their body fat levels significantly lower and lower, it's going to be more and more difficult to not only maintain it, right, those lower percentage of body fat, but it's going to be almost near impossible to get lower than and continue to get lower and lower. I'll tell a client to go from 30 to 25% body fat, not an issue. We'll do that in 30 days, or I don't know, could be less, could take a little bit longer. But as you track down to 15%, if they get there, 12%, to go from 10% to 8% body fat, that is significantly difficult for the average person. Near impossible to go from 7 to 6%. Again, there's the genetic component to it, but the reason pro bodybuilders or any bodybuilder, for instance, needs to use exogenous pharmaceuticals is because the body, under normal hormonal conditions, simply will not allow you, irrespective of your nutrition and your exercise. At some point, the endocrine system will take over and go, you're done. No, no, no. We're not losing. We're going to hold on as much as we can now to that residual body fat that you still have left over. And then the body will, again, the endocrine system will determine this, will start sacrificing lean body mass. And this is one of the challenges we face when we're losing body fat and trying to maintain lean body mass. You talk to anybody trying to do this to get uber lean, it is a massive challenge, okay? So that's the way I would explain it to a client. So in order to answer this basic question that this student was asking me, I let them know that number one, your body has sort of a break point when it comes to body fat. It could be 1 to even 3%, depending on the individual. It could be higher than that. But that's the break point. And client A, you're getting closer to that. And the closer you get to that mark, even if you started at 30% and you get down to 25%, your body is loving that. Your doctor's loving it too, and you're loving it. That's great. But as you track down lower and lower towards that sort of break point, as you get closer to 3% body fat, 2% body fat, 15. So you're at 15, getting down to 12. Your body starts to put in place these hormonal mechanisms that are going to start to shut it down or make it exceedingly difficult. Okay. And real quick, if you're interested in having a little bit more information on the actual physiology of why that happens, I'm more than happy to do that. Leave a comment in the in that comment section below. Also, keep in mind, by the way, I hope this was helpful. I mean, that's kind of the idea. I'm just trying to help you explain it how I would say it take 5 to 10 seconds to explain it to a client. If the client wants more elucidation on that, then I can go, okay, well, here's the reason is you have these hormones called da 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 da. And then I would explain those, and hopefully that would help them in their understanding of it. But with that said, please remember, we're here to help you go through the materials in your modules, pass your final exam to become a qualified, certified personal trainer. Every Wednesday night, this is what I was getting to. Every Wednesday night, we play Quizlet live. Now, this is a study session for 30 minutes, 6 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 Central, 4 Mountain, 3 Pacific. If you can make it, it's a lot of fun. But it's every Wednesday night, 30 minutes of Quizlet live. Hope this was helpful. If you've got any questions, let us know. By the way, if you understood and could actually now potentially use this information that I just gave you, write the word understand in the comments section below. We would appreciate it. Remember, if you have not done so, subscribe to our channel. You can share this material as well and just let us know how we can be of further assistance. Have a great week. Take care.